My name is Ray Berry. I am the founder and president of White Lion Brewing Company. White Lion was established in 2013, and our product officially launched in the latter part of 2014. So White Lion is part of the craft beer manufacturing trade. We have various tentacles out there. We not only brew our own beer, we brew several other smaller breweries' beer at our own facility. We also distribute not only our beer, but we distribute other smaller breweries that would not have the capacity to go with the bigger wholesalers. We also have a kitchen on premise. We were never we never thought we would get into the food component, but it's important, especially during the pandemic. We've all learned the importance of having food on premise. Is the tap room component, which allows folks to come in and actually experience visually and actually drink and eat the food, and allows them to partake in various themed events and experience what we were unable to do for several years. My entire background out of school, out of college, was community engagement, working for quasi or nonprofit organizations. So I understood the importance of community impact, moving the needle in the right direction for the benefit of the greater good. My entire career, before starting White Lion, was in that community development, nonprofit, quasi-public housing space, and had an opportunity to sit on a number of local, regional, statewide boards and commissions, a couple national committees. Again, just being part of the conversation, sharing my experience, having a voice at the table, and representing folks that may be voiceless. And that's why we're so heavily involved in the community. I know no other way but to be part of the community fabric, and White Lion is part of that. There was a craft beer explosion. There was craft breweries popping up all throughout the surrounding area of Springfield. Ironically, the city of Springfield is the third largest city in the Commonwealth, but there was zero conversation going on. So I had always appreciated the creativity and craft, and saw an opportunity that why isn't anyone in this space talking about improving whatever district, downtown district, whatever neighborhood, and bringing this conversation to the economic development, community development fold. And that's really how the conversation started. I was still working full time as the CFO at the local United Way, and then doing the brewery piece or framing out the business model of the brewery part-time. Again, we didn't have a physical location, so we had to engage and incorporate ourselves into the fabric of the community. And I think those conversations really started to take on a life of its own, and encouraged me and encouraged others who were part of the conversation to really try to push and move this forward. As we expand and grow our base, we're going to run into some challenges relative to if we're bankable yet, because we're in that fine line. So, we're looking forward to what that story and what that journey looks like in the next month, 2 months, leading into the next year. There's a long history and conversation around the impact people of color have had on brewing, period. The origin starts in Africa. That story hasn't been told generation over generation. So, we're rehashing and bringing a lot of that education back to the fold, into the fold, I should say. But to your point, statistically, in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, there are over 200 breweries, and less than 1%, actually only a handful of us, are Black and brown. In the United States, there's over 9,000 breweries, and less than 1% are Black and brown. So, there are a number of us in various lanes of the country, educating, doing our thing, incorporating, being part of the conversation, again, getting back to moving the needle and exposing our people to craft beer. It's a premium product. And as I had stated earlier, a lot of the genesis, the origin of brewing took place in Africa, made its way to the colonial states. And as slaves, we were the actual labor, men and women, who would brew the beer for the plantations. So there has been a disconnect over the years, but again, there are a number of us trying to speak to and bring more of an educational piece and our value to the overall trade. When you see or come to our tap room, you're seeing every facet, every piece of the fabric that we reside in. And it's important for us to remain true to that conversation and demonstrate and lead by example. So whether it's me as an individual or other team members as an individual or us as a group, we're always going to be part of the community conversation, whether it's volunteering for a board or commission, representing or speaking out for a just cause. That's exactly what White Lion is all about. White Lion is a symbol of good for humankind. It's an extension beyond race, color, creed, or gender. So it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. At the end of the day, it's about sharing in a common experience. And that's what we demonstrate 365 days a year, 7 days a week. The name originates from Africa. There's a lot of mythical complexities behind the name. In Africa, a number of the tribes would see white lions as a child of the sun. They called it the sun god. It was a mythical creature. It would bestow and only show itself on occasion because it's a rare creature. It's an actual creature, but there's a level of rarity behind it. So whenever it was exposed, they said, oh, you would be blessed with infinite prosperity because you had an opportunity to see the white lion. So yeah, when I thought about the name of a brewery, I wanted it to incorporate all facets. So it didn't matter your economic background, your gender identity, your ethnicity, right? The diversity of the region was important, and we needed to have a story that could embrace that. And White Lion was, in fact, the way for us to go. And we're still literally building and driving the bus as we move along. One tweak or one pivot that I would probably have made if I were proactive enough, the grace of luck and Most High, whomever it may be, to go out, raise some money, right? And have the experience where folks could come immediately into the fold. Next for White Lion is strategic growth. We're looking at other space, not only in the Commonwealth, but also other space throughout the New England states. The next distribution component for us, hopefully, would be the state of Connecticut, followed by the state of Rhode Island. But it's important for us to find the right strategic partner to align ourselves with that understand and we understand their story and that we can grow collectively. And then outside of that space, we'll see what happens 3 to 5 years from now. But that's the immediate piece, Connecticut, Rhode Island, relative to distribution and getting our product into a larger bandwidth of folks. White Lion Brewing is located in downtown Springfield, 1500 Main Street, right in the middle of the business district. We're also available on all social media feeds from Facebook to Twitter to Instagram. And we can also be followed or reached at whitelionbrewing.com.